Always talking about leading and what you can do, how you can lead financially and everything else. But when we in conflict, how are you leading that conflict? When it comes to communication, how are you leading when it comes to communication? When it comes to actually being attentive, when it comes to what it is that your kids need, how are you leading that?
Baby, I'm up early in the morning with it because I got to talk to y'all about this leadership conversation. Most people who talk about leadership usually like to reference the Bible, and they usually like to reference Ephesians 5:22 through 24. But they always want to exclude verses 21 and 25 through 31. Too many of the men who sit in front of a mic and press record and want to talk about leadership, especially those who use the Bible as reference, are emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually abusive. Leadership should not be oppressive or abusive, just like submission from a wife should not be subservient or self-abandoning. You cannot be a man talking about leadership and you think that financial and physical provision is where it ends. You also can't be a man and say that I have to be tough, I have to be strong, and think that your toughness and your strength excuses your lack of gentleness and kindness with your wife. Come on, leaders! A great leader is selfless with both his wife and his kids, also understanding that when it's appropriate, he absolutely can seek counsel from his wife, especially when it comes to making great decisions that are going to impact you, your wife, your children, and the generations after. Now, that does not mean that it has to be every decision, but also a great leader understands equality and respect as well. If you want your wife to add to your fruition, make sure that she has something to add to. If you don't have any goals, aspirations, dreams, or direction, what does she have to add to? You can't lead your wife and kids astray. I think some of you all have taken the word and maybe your idea of what leadership is based off of movies and fiction and ran with it. Great leadership is characterized by, to name a few, understanding, empathy, respect, selflessness, willingness. We can keep going. And now I'm really about to go into a rant, because if you're placing the majority or all of the responsibilities of your home on your wife, leadership is not a conversation that you should be partaking in, baby. You need to be talking about why you've positioned your wife to be the one initiating and leading. Talk about why your wife is feeling undervalued, unappreciated, depressed, anxious, overwhelmed, stressed, angry, bitter, resentful, because she's constantly having to tell the kids what to do and you, when you're the one supposed to be doing that, leader. This is not the conversation for the men who are actually leading. Because the men who are actually leading are probably the ones that are not having this conversation. They're getting active within their homes. Round of applause for those men. Mr. Leader, talk about 1 Peter 3:7. Talk about why your prayers not getting answered because of the way you treat your wife. If you fail to treat her with great worth as your partner in this journey that we call life, your prayers are going to be hindered. Talk about that. Didn't Charlamagne make a video talking about how when he stopped cheating on his wife, that he started to grow and change and really started becoming successful 3, 4, 5, 6 times more? Y'all don't remember that video?
When I started devoting myself to my wife, literally committing myself to my wife, I'm not cheating, I'm not doing nothing else, and I'm going to therapy, and I'm going to work on myself. Bro, look at my life the last 6, 7 years. I came up in every way, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, everything.
Some of you leaders be in the same position for 10, 20, 30 years because of how you treat your wife. But you know what? That's a conversation for another day. But before you all decide that you want to sit in front of a microphone with your boys and you want to press record and you want to talk about leadership, make sure that you qualify to be a leader and make sure that you're qualified to have that conversation. But I digress. Y'all have a good day.